U.S. Navy decides to make Navy boot camp officially longer. I'm going to blame the COVID. You know why? Because the fact they saw you guys could be in boot camp for 2 weeks longer on quarantine, and they were like, guess what? It's going to be good for their soul. We're going to make some tough sailors. Now, the Navy is saying that this is in regards to the new Navy's community college, but we'll just call it mental toughness. What every college somehow seems to lack teaching, and our young Americans that are somehow between the ages of 18 and 22, so the military is going to do it for them.
I am replacing Major Frankfurt as your commanding officer.
Now, according to Navy Times, they've received some official information about this, and part of that information includes this. It says Navy recruits will complete 10 weeks of boot camp in 2022 rather than the 8 weeks that has been the standard. So if you change your date to leave for boot camp after 2021 because you wanted to stay at home with mom and sit there and open presents and maybe eat some food for Thanksgiving, you might have screwed yourself. Naval Station, Great Lakes, Illinois, will be devoted to the completion of a Sailor for Life module that targets the conversion from civilian to sailor, according to Captain Dave Hecht, a spokesman for the Chief of Naval Personnel. This will focus on character development through lessons of mentorship, small unit leadership, professional and personal development, and advanced warrior toughness, Hecht said in an email to Navy Times. My sailor mind is going off with thinking how many PowerPoints are going to be created, how many times are recruits going to be caught sleeping, and how many RDCs are frustrated that they don't want to see your face for another 2 weeks. That includes expanding the warrior toughness training that recruits go through during boot camp to the entire fleet. First introduced to the recruits in 2018, warrior toughness is designed to help sailors perform in stressful situations and is based on concepts originally developed by Naval Special Warfare. They say the fleet-wide campaign will ensure all sailors benefit from the psychological skills and character development needed to maximize their performance in challenging environments. I will let you know I've actually got a new person from boot camp, straight pipeline to where I work right now, and actually kind of talked about this mental toughness coming through as they were part of a pilot program and kind of like the basic ideas of breathing techniques, how to think through a problem, how to come up with different solutions, and how to move forward and not let it block you. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably going to sit there and say, but Nicky, I thought I was going to the easier boot camp. Mom, say I'm crazy. I can't do it.
What, are you going to cry now? Come on, cry, baby, cry for me. Come on, cry.
Deep in the recesses of my...
All right, get over it. That's part of the first thing here. But I think this shows that the military is realizing we need to get the toughness back in. We've probably seen an attrition of people that could have made it had they have dealt with some more tough situations, and maybe this will even give a chance to say that there's more military bearing that's going to be instilled in sailors as they're coming from boot camp. Anybody that's ever been to an A-school situation or pipeline, they understand. They're like, what is pumping out of boot camp? Because you get the complaints from A-school, then complaints from the fleet where they're like, what is being taught here? But that is not the only thing that's being released, as it looks like there's some more good information out there. The pilot program for the community college launched in 2021, and the second round is expected to introduce a 5-course naval studies certificate to accompany a 60 credit hour associate degree. These students who will take the course online will have the option to select concentration in military studies, nuclear engineering, cybersecurity, aviation maintenance technology, logistics, and other subjects. The Naval Community College is partnering with Arizona State University in summer 2022 to launch its military studies associate's degree program, and is likewise partnering with Minnesota's Alexandria Technical and Community College in the fall of 2022 to kick off its nuclear engineering technology associate degree program. So as I see that part of this news coming out with the additional 2 weeks is maybe, just maybe, we can actually see a true pipeline for people that are going through and wanting to become officers. If Arizona State University, if this other technical college are going to be able to give you that 2-year degree, and then say, for example, you apply for a cybersecurity spot through a commissioning program, which the military needs very badly right now. Is that going to become more accessible because people are now having more access to a 2-year degree, which is legitimate from what this is showing, and not just some Navy knowledge online click-through course? Because I do see the education bubble of having to learn about women's studies or whatever else not being relevant to needing to understand cybersecurity or to become a doctor or any of that stuff, because we're realizing the school bubble needs to deflate somehow. And this might offset that to bring work skills to the work environment. Parents over at the Recruit Training Command Facebook page are also agreeing that there should be some toughen up kind of mentality added to boot camp. So Chantel says, it is truly needed for soldiers like my son. The new generation require a lot more psychological training to toughen up. They are lacking thicker skin, and no one is catering to mentoring them and molding them for that life. Carolyn Kubib says, they need a week devoted to We Owe You Nothing. So many are not suited to military life and are clueless to what it entails. The amount of separations due to quotations failure to adapt is ridiculous. Kyle Way writes, I went for 12 last year. It literally could be a 6-week course. This is a waste of time. To be a little fair for Kyle, he's a Navy CB, which makes sense that none of the stuff he learned about in Navy boot camp would even apply to his regular life right now for the most part. But it does look like people are sharing some of the same sentiments or ideas that I have across social platforms here. But also, I think this is a change people wanted, or like a revamp to boot camp, but maybe not the exact revamp they were looking for. Every single new sailor out there is going to try and flex and say, well, I went to the 10-week boot camp. Where'd you go to? 8-weeker? We didn't need 2 weeks to get toughened up. It was after my generation. And I'm going to tell you, I know some of the veterans out there are going to say, well, we boot camp was my entire 4 years. I'm calling BS. But I will also call this and say, listen, if you went to boot camp at one of the 2 prior locations, which, to refresh your memory, there is one located over in San Diego, California, over on the USS Neversail. Also one that happened to be in Orlando, Florida, where right next to Walt Disney World, that was shut down in 1995. I don't want to hear. Great Lakes is freezing cold. You got to go out on Liberty the day outside of boot camp, and you got to go to Disney World, or you got to go to SeaWorld, or you got to go to Disneyland if you're over in the San Diego one. So I don't have to say anything. This new generation finally has something they can flex on. And even if it's just suffering for another 2 weeks, it's still suffering. But let me know down in the comments below, do you think this is a good idea to extend boot camp? Do you think this instills more discipline, as we've seen, for example, the Marine Corps that has had a 13-week boot camp, which has been driven and known and sold on the idea of increased discipline and warrior toughness? Do you think that this will be a great incorporation as it tries to kind of climb closer to some of those standards and implementing some of those ideas? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, if you guys have questions about this or anything else, you always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.